Hey guys, Todd here. Today we're going to install the Ranch Hand Summit Series front bumper on this 2020 Ram 2500. Now, we've already got the factory bumper removed. If you want to see how that works, feel free to check out our video on removing that front bumper. Tools required for this installation are standard and metric sockets and ratchets, a 3/4, 9/16, and 7/16 wrench, electric impact, and a step bit. Now make sure you're subscribed to our channel to stay up to date with all our latest content. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, now the factory bolts that came out of these two holes are smaller than the bolts that we're going to be replacing them with. So what we need to do is we need to open up this hole a little bit to a 1/2 inch in diameter. We're not drilling all the way through. We're just cutting through this part of the sheet metal here and here just to open up these sides. The sleeve and the hole on this side is plenty big enough. So I'm just going to use a step bit. I've already got a little bit of lube on there so it doesn't burn up the bit. Go. Okay, now this is our passenger side bracket. You're going to see that we've got a cutout that's going to face towards the inside and at the bottom. Here we've got an angle iron. This is going to sit on top of our frame rail. And these 3 holes right here will line up to these 3 holes. We can go ahead and start putting in our hardware that we widened out those holes for. All right, we're going to go ahead and use our 4-inch bolts with supplied washer. This is included in your kit. We're going to go in the top and the bottom. This is where we've enlarged it. On the opposite side, we're going to put on another washer with lock nut. I'm just going to tighten those hand tight for right now. Okay, now back here we're going to go ahead and reinstall our tow hook bolt the same way it came out. So we've got our flag nut that's going to go up into, lock into the frame, and then we can raise it up to line up to the hole and put our bolt in place. And we're just going to tighten that down finger tight. This is going to allow us to set the tow hook back in place. Okay, now the factory tow hook is going to go back in pretty much opposite the way it came out. So we're going to slide it through the frame rail. It's going to hook over top of this bolt here and pull forward. Then we can rotate it up, and this hole will line up to this hole here. We can use our factory hardware to tighten it up. All right, and then finish putting it together with the factory hardware. Okay, we're going to go ahead and snug up this hardware, but we're not going to tighten it down all the way just yet. When we go and line up the bumper, this will actually adjust the front and back tilt on the bumper. All right, we're going to use a 3/4 on the top and bottom with a 3/4 inch wrench on the opposite side, and then use a 24 millimeter on these two here. All right, now we're going to go ahead and repeat the same process for the bracket on the opposite side. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is the inside of the bumper on the driver's side. I've already gone ahead and run our main wire harness through this bumper all the way to the opposite side. This particular truck also came with factory sensors. So I've got 5 of the sensors already installed. I want to show you how to install the last one so you can get the idea. If you don't have sensors, you've also got some caps that come around the other side and would pop through so that you can have plugs over top of the holes that are there. If you have sensors, you're going to start with these grommets. You're going to fit the grommets into the hole. Now the grommet has a slit in it that allows it to seat into the bumper. So they are rubber and it is a very tight fit, so just work it in place. When it's in place, you want to make sure that it's seated all the way in to where it's nice and round. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take and insert our sensors. Now make sure the sensors are exactly going back in the way they came out of the factory bumper. So don't turn them or anything like that. Make sure they're going in the correct holes as well. Once you line it up, again, this is a very tight fit, so you're going to kind of fit it in and twist it a little bit to where it seats all the way down. Once it's lined up and seated, go ahead and take your harness, plug it in, and lock it in place. Repeat that on all the sensors. Okay, now here is our factory driver's side fog light. The passenger side is going to do the exact same way. This is the halogen. If you have the LED version, just refer to your instructions, but I'm going to show you how to do the halogen. We're going to use a 7mm and pull this out of its housing. Now we're going to go ahead and bring it over to the ranch hand bracket. We're going to take our supplied hardware and attach it, snugging everything up with a 7/16 wrench and ratchet. Okay, now on the main gusseting in our bumper, we're going to have a couple of holes that's going to coordinate to the top and bottom holes on our bracket. We're going to use our supplied hardware, bolt and washer in the top and bottom holes. On the other side, we'll use flat washer, lock washer, and nut, and then snug everything up with a 9/16 on each side. We can go ahead and plug in our factory fog and repeat the same on the opposite side. Okay, now I've gone ahead and taped off the bottom of the truck just to protect the paint while we're moving the bumper. Now I'm going to get a couple of friends to lift up that bumper for me and hold it in place up against the brackets on the frame. Now we're going to go through the holes in the bumper into the brackets on the frame. We've got 4 bolts per side. We've also got a washer. It's going to be bolt through washer, through the bumper, and then into the bracket. On the back side, we've got another washer and a lock nut. We're going to do 4 per side. Once we get that in place, we're going to line it all up and then tighten it all down. This hardware, we're going to use 3/4 on each side. Okay, so we went ahead and got everything lined up and tightened down, and then I went ahead and reconnected the factory wire harness. That concludes the installation. Guys, if you found this helpful, make sure and give us a thumbs up. If you want to know more about the product, check the link in the description below. As always, if you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.